Hey everybody, I'm Bob Kovacs, and this is a look at the Snap-on L-710 half-inch ratchet. This is a ratchet that's really sturdy, well known in the industry, made by a major tool manufacturer. It's no longer made, it's no longer in Snap-on's tool line, but it's still a popular ratchet. You can still buy it out there on sites like eBay and other tool-centric sites, and you can buy one, a used one, because they're not made new anymore. You can buy one used for anywhere from $40 to $60. So it's not a cheap tool by a long shot. You can buy a decent half-inch ratchet at a store today for less than $40 to $60. So this must have something about it. Well, I got this from my late brother-in-law's estate, and it's the first Snap-on tool that I ever had. And it was kind of dirty, and it didn't feel good when I turned it. It didn't feel like it was solid. It felt like it was missing gears. So I had images that the ratchet gear inside of this was chewed up. And so I wanted to take it apart and see what it looked like. And I'm going to do that for you today. To take it apart is really easy. There are just two screws, two Phillips head screws on this. And pretty much that's all you need to do to take it apart to clean it. Okay, let's start removing these two screws. They're just two Phillips screws, standard size Phillips. They look like they're smaller than standard sized, but they're just standard size Phillips screws. So now the two screws are out, and you open it up from the other side. Now you can get a little screwdriver and try prying underneath it. I'm going to use a magnet. I've got one of these screw recovery magnets. If you drop a screw into your car, you can stretch this out and recover it. And I'm going to go ahead and use it to take this bottom cover off, and it comes right off. When I got this ratchet, it worked so poorly, it felt so bad, that I thought for sure there was going to be missing teeth in this gear. But once I got the ratchet gear out and looked at it, it really looked absolutely perfect. I have no issues with it whatsoever. There's no chips or anything that looks worn at all. It looks perfect. And inside, this other geared component is called a pawl, P-A-W-L, and that's what you use to select whether you're threading a nut on or threading it off. And it also, once I cleaned it up, looks perfect. There's nothing wrong with its teeth, and everything looks good. And when it's back together, it all engages properly, which is really pretty surprising when you think about this. This tool was made in 1951, so now we're just starting 2025. So this is 74 years old. There's a date code here on this tool. Snap-on has a date code chart, and you can look it up, and it says that this was made in 1951. A 74-year-old tool, and it's still working well today. So what I did was I sprayed some cleaner in here and used a wire brush. Now, you can use a steel brush. Those are pretty common, but I actually have a brass wire brush, and I figure that the brass is less hard than the steel, so it would be a good thing to scrub this with because it could scrub away the dirt and the old grease and not hurt any of the steel. I didn't want to take the risk of scratching the steel. But the chances are you could use a steel wire brush with no problem. Anyway, I sprayed cleaner in here, scrubbed with this brass brush, and this is the cog that switches from threading something on to threading something off. This was all gunked up in here. I made sure I sprayed in there really good, and I'd turn it and I'd scrub with the brush, turn it the other way, scrub with the brush, and eventually all of the gunk came out of it. Now I have seen that you can use a screwdriver and pry this lever off, and then you can get the cog out. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to see if I could clean it without doing that. And since I was able to clean mine without doing that, I would suggest that you try that first. If you find that there's still stuff in here that is making it difficult for you to switch from one side to the other, then you might have to take this gear out by prying off this lever. You should know that not only is this gear there, but there's also a spring inside there. So be careful that you don't lose the spring if you should remove that gear. But again, I had very good luck in cleaning my tool without taking that gear out. So I suggest that you do that as well. So I Then once it was all done, I used some 3-in-1 oil. I just put a drop of 3-in-1 oil down into the tool for lubrication purposes because I wanted it to work smoothly. Put it back in. Put the cover back on. Reattach the screws. And you're done. And that's what it looks like when it's done. Now, I did take this same brass brush to the surface and I scrubbed off a lot of dirt and gunk and stuff, and it was a little nasty looking, and now it looks like a beautiful ready-to-use tool. You know, there's like grease gets into these numbers and letters here. Well, scrub that out and made that look like new. So it looks really pretty, a very usable tool. This is what I like to use to clean grease from things. This obviously is called brake cleaner, but it's related to dry cleaning fluid, so it doesn't smell too strong. It doesn't hurt your clothing as bad as some other stuff could do. So I would just take the tool outside, spray it with this really good that you get any of that grease and gunk and oil out of there. Sometimes while it's still wet after spraying this, get the wire brush and brush it some more while there's still some of this cleaning liquid in there and spray it really good and get it out. Once you get everything out, then use the 3-in-1 oil as I showed you before. And once it's all done, this works beautifully smoothly. And I now feel confident I can use it on any mechanical project. So that's how I tackled the project of fixing this Snap-on L-710 ratchet, and so far it's worked out really well for me. I think I can use this for any mechanical project I do in my garage. Works very smoothly and feels like an excellent tool. Hey everybody, I'm Bob Kovacs. Thanks for watching.